Ziggity zig back with more griffventures of griff, and this is actually an older game. This is between Griff and Sulphide. Now, for some reason, I feel like I've played someone named Sulphide and Zerg, so I'm almost positive I haven't cast this game yet because this is actually it's a previous game. This is Griff's placement match for season no 2012 season 4. That's the one. But since he hasn't really been laddering all that much, and I even checked the folder, he's not put anything new in there since the mono battles, then there's pretty much nothing there right now, so I have to go back to some of the older ones that I didn't cast. So this one is just called, well, yeah, uh, the placement match for Season 4 2012. So we'll see what actually happens. And it looks like the Scout. Oh, it's going to be a high five Scout. About halfway through. Here we go. Look at them. They are exactly alike. They're going to pop into this box. We're going to watch both of them go by and Doppler effect. You can see, oh, something seems to be going on the other side of these funny little tall leaves. There they go. So, Sulphide going to get up Griff's ramp at the exact moment. That's just perfect. I'm quite amused. Look at Griff's ABM is going absolute nutso, but heading up the ramp, and there they both go. So, Sulphide going to have a quick peek, and Sulphide is going to realize that Griff does not yet have a gateway yet. And Griff is going to notice that Sulphide is not six-pooling him, so yay. They both find that there is no cheese vacation going on. Sulphide says, ooh, I'm going to walk by this. Is that a forge? No, that's not a forge. Basically, in these lower leagues, this is all I find. You scout for two reasons. One, you scout to find out where they are, so you can go and you know where to attack when that happens. And two, you find out whether or not they're doing any cheese at you. So if there's no cheese, then you just sort of say, fine, cool. Now, better players would figure scouting information out. For example, they'd say, oh, okay, there we go. There's one gas, so that can knock out another factor of cheese. We're probably not a zealot rush. This particular hatchway is probably going to tell you something, but I'm not sure if Griff actually saw that. Let's have a quick peek. No, Griff did not see that going down. And that's okay. Here are a few more of the overlords. I'm not quite sure where the two overlords are going. I think they're probably just coming up here to have a look at Griff's space on both sides of things, avoiding, staying quite well ahead of the supply block. Sulphide, however, is not staying ahead of the supply block because Sulphide does not appear to have any overlords on the way, which is odd. Oh, there we go, an extractor. That will help, and then that will allow Sulphide to get another drone. There's the spawning pool going down finally. Don't see a queen on the well, because there's you gotta wait for the spawning pool. So with the late pool, you're getting an even later queen. Meanwhile, Griff's getting all sorts of cool stuff. Up here's in his second gate. No start on... Oh, wait, waiting for 50 minerals, and booyah. Booyah? Booyah? Nope, does not even have warp gate selected. Okay, so we're finding our first error here. Getting additional gas in case we want to make some more units. There we go, chronoing that out. The Zealot taking care of these drone scouts, so that's going to deny scouting of the remainder of these buildings up here, even though not really a whole lot to discuss. The biggest issue is that Griff does not see Sulphide's expansion at the moment. It's now just sort of chasing random units around. Hey, that was neat. They both turned at the exact same moment. These guys... He's multi-boxing. He must be multi-boxing because he's doing everything at the exact same time. They're like twins. Ooh, we're going to scout at the exact same moment. And oh, I'm chasing around your drone. Let's both turn around at quite the same time. Now let's both head down for this Zelnaga Tower. And the drone says, nope, nope, I'm going to go hide behind the bushes. And goodness only knows. Just random kind of weird pathing for Sulphide. Oh, this Overlord decides to go in the opposite direction, and boom. That's going to cause a problem for Sulphide, because Sulphide was having a bit of a problem getting out Overlords, but oh, there we go. So, Overlords and a Spine Crawler hitting up on the downward side, just to protect the ramp from the wrong side. You probably want to put these over here, but I am no Zerg expert, you tell me. We got a Queen on both bases now, I believe Inject's coming along just fine. Warp Gate is almost completed. Griff is on 2 gates at the moment. I think when this happened, usually when the lockout happens, Griff and I don't play all that much, so we actually fall out of practice quite quickly. Although the early expansion, pretty excited about that. It's quite a good move. We have a small number of Zerglings here at the one Xel'Naga tower versus one Zealot at the other Xel'Naga tower. However, these units up here, this will be able to put a fair dent in it unless they decide to do a run by. So it all kind of depends, but it seems like the Zerglings are going to come in, they're going to do a bit of a trickle maneuver. And trickle versus Zealot, Zealot's going to win. So that's 2 units lost. So the Sulphide is now down to only 4 Zerglings, unless he's got a few more at the front base. No, not really all that much in the space. 4 Zerglings, 3 Queens, cause you need that one for... Oh, I see, he's being all super awesome with his creep tumor expansion. That's pretty cool. But, on the other hand, Griff's getting a split now, getting a 3-gate robo, and a 4-gate robo, which is, you know, that other thing that you could do. He's got 2 gas up at his main base, but at the expansion, no gas just yet. Small unit production. The worker supply is slightly ahead in Sulphide's favor, but that guy Griff definitely has an army advantage at the moment. These 2 observers, overlords, sorry, not observers, the other kind of observers, you know, the bionic and organic observers, except they can't see detected units. It's a bad analogy, and I just screwed up saying it. So, the overlords are at both corners, making sure, hopefully, that there's no kind of cheese running outside. So, if you are Sulphide, 1, you've got a tower. You tried taking a 2nd tower. That didn't work out all that well, because honestly, if he's got a Zealot on that tower, you're going to need more than 2 Zerglings. 3 could probably do it. But these 2 overlords, you probably want to have this one over top of this third expansion, just in case, because then you can be able to detect that, so you can watch if there's any warp prisms or any drop play coming out of the bases, and you can check on expansions, make sure you know precisely what's going on. Griff getting his first observer out, not an overlord. This is the other kind of overlord. This is the mechanical overlord that can see slightly better. I'm not sure which one moves fastest. So Griff also likes to get a little bit of sight. He uses a lot of pylons for sight, which is an excellent way of doing things. You probably want another one down there, because that way you can spot for drops as well. The advantage that Zerg has is they have a pretty decent air advantage at the beginnings of the game, whereas not a lot of air defense for anyone other than Protoss, but usually make a lot of Zealots right away. Now, as far as organization of units, Griff doesn't seem to have the army sort of in the right. Well, actually, I'm not sure if that's accidental or if he's doing that on purpose. We're having the Zealots in the front and kind of all the casters in the range in the back. There's a few more, so he's now up to 6 gate, getting both gas at this point, so doing quite well there. Keeping an eye on these Zerglings, which still seem to be predominantly all there is. Sulphide is going full-on macro style. Look at that. What's the income level right now? But Sulphide is still losing the income war, except for maybe a little bit of gas. Sulphide's got 2 spore crawlers, no scout, so Sulphide's got all the possibilities for scout, but just nothing in there. However, I think I might just have missed something, because it sounded like I heard... No? That's funny, it sounded like I heard a Spire. Or at least Mutalisks. Okay, so we do have Mutalisks and the Infestation Pit. Nothing on the radar in production just yet, just more creep tumors. Griff's army... I mean, look at that. That's 54 army to 8. Griff is doubling supply right now. This looks like it's going to be a bit of a cakewalk, but I don't know. Maybe I'm making too much out of this. Griff getting the Twilight Council in the expansion on the way out. That helps out with the upgrades, because you can see +1 and 1 going on at the same time. One of the things that I choose not to do fairly often is make 2... Oh, we're getting Corruptors going straight for Broodlord, making 2 forges. I was trying to say just a minute ago I usually only make the 1, and that means my upgrades are sometimes decent weapons, but nothing else. So I heard a couple of maneuvers, or different theories talking about the fact that you can have, or you want to go for +1 to shields, or +1 to armor first, instead of weapons, because especially with a person like me, who usually has a problem with having enough of an army. So if you overwhelm the army, the +1 helps. But if you are not overwhelming the army, are we getting Carapace melee attacks, Greater Spire? Yes, it certainly looks like. So we've got Overseer, 4 Zerglings, and 7 Corruptors. Seems like a Corruptor-only army. So let's have a look and see what Griff is seeing. Griff is coming in, and he's about to see some very, very exciting things with this Observer. Let's see what he's going to notice. He's going to see, booyah! There's a new base that I should go kill. Or we gonna go kill it? No, no, we're going to play the waiting game, but that's okay, because every time you play the waiting game, that means that you could make a few more units. Yeah, there's a few more units right there, that's good. A few warp prisms. Oh, and finally the observer gets noticed. Warp pins, not warp prisms. What am I talking about? I can't even remember what I'm saying at any given point. But here comes this army, and we're into we're into immortals at the moment. We're into +2 and 2. Charge is almost finished, so the zealots sort of standing at the back is not going to work all that well. But as soon as he steps onto this creep, Sulphide is going to be able to see him. So let's see what happens here. Here comes so a good number of zerglings now finally making their way out, so just saving up all of the larvae. The problem was, too little too late, could not quite handle that. There go the corruptors, and I think they might be making a bit of a beeline for Griff's main base, or perhaps they're just running away. I thought that they might come and float up over here, and then morph into broodlords and start doing a fair amount of harassment, but it pretty much just looks like Griff is going to come in with this ridiculously huge, overly huge army, and this awesome EPM, which is actually starting to go slightly below Sulphide's EPM, but that's just not doing it. So, yeah, there we go. There are the 7 broodlords. There are some adrenal glands and some carapace and some melee attacks. Not doing anything as far as air attacks from as far as I can see. Let's just have a quick check on here, and we've got, 1 and 1. No air attacks at all, which is kind of odd, because this seemed to center and focus and rely even on a fully broodlorded attack. So with 1-1, you'll be going up against 2-2 in a few minutes. Here come a few more zerglings to try to take care of this. I don't see anything. I don't see a roach warren. I don't see a hydralisk den. Just the infestor pit in order to get straight to broodlords. So perhaps this was some sort of, I don't know, attempted build. Maybe just testing something out. But here are the units. If Griff is doing anything along back home. Sulphide says, I feel the GG. Just don't think, with no units in between zerglings and broodlords, yeah, Sulphide's pretty much hit the nail on the head late. Which is interesting, because Griff's money in macro, I knew you could see that, but I was late on it. So Griff's macro just schooled him, despite the fact that Sulphide seemed to be going for a macro build. I mean, he wasn't making any units whatsoever. Griff could have walked in for any of those first 16 minutes. He went over no problem. Now, these broodlords, however, they are doing a small amount of damage, but as long as Griff gets these stalkers up here, they will be able to peck away at some of these. However, there we go, another 5. 5. Seems like a small number. Just to try to get rid of the remainder of these broodlords. So definitely, Griff had a pretty solid opening there. Moved down. Could have been a little tighter on the Cybernetics Core warp gate research, but the rest of this is looking all right. Got some upgrades. Got some tech. Keeping the pressure up. Could probably be expanding behind this several times again. It's 17 minutes in, and you'd probably be looking at a third. He's always telling me that he never knows when to go for a third. Let's have a look at the units tab, and we still have 1 overseer, 10 overlords. There are no units. There are just a few static defenses. The problem is they're all facing up. So Griff's pretty much just gonna wipe the floor with this. If I was 30 seconds later, you would have. If it was 30 seconds. I'm thinking not. Even though Griff's macro seems to have slid a little bit, has a lot of unspent resources at home, but these 6 gates are pretty much easily on cooldown. Griff could probably have quite a number more, but the best part is he's up to 156 in possible supply, so he can replenish quite quickly. More overlords, Sulphide, more overlords. If you can leave me a comment down below, leave me send me an email, ziggyzig@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter @ZiggyStarCraft. If you want to see more of that guy Griff, you can come over to our other channel, youtube.com/limenotlemons, and all sorts of more information over there. Don't worry about it. I felt like I was going to make another point. I'm not. Stay tuned.